Today topic is list. What is list? Right? So list is a container which contains multiple values like integer, float, complex, string, and so on, right? Second thing is that list is mutable in nature, which means we can change the item in the list or we can update the list. We can also add uh, elements in the list, right? So that's why we say that list is a mutable in nature, right? Next thing is that list allows duplicate element to store inside it, right? So that means you can store duplicate elements in the list, right? And next thing is list is indexed. So every element which has some index position, right? So here you can see that list is an indexed, right? Now we create a list. Suppose that I am taking a variable that is list lst, and I'm creating a list with the help of square brackets. We use square brackets to create a list, right? Now enter elements. Suppose Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? So these are the elements in the list, and now you can print entire list by print function like that. Pass only the list name, that is lst, right, inside the print function. In that way you can print your entire list on your output screen. Here is list. Now check the type of that variable, which type of variable, which type of data type of this variable. You can check the type of data type of the variable by using type function. Just pass the variable name and see that it returns the class of the data type. Suppose that we have created a list into that variable, so that's why it has written list as a class, right? So we can check the type of the data type by type function, right? We can also access any of elements in the list using indexing, right? So a list supports positive indexing as well as negative, right? So now suppose that all the elements inside the list which has some index position, right? So if I talk about positive indexing, so the first element will start from 0. So the first element is at 0 index position. Next element is at second position, first position, and the third element is at second position. So that means positive indexing will start from 0. Positive indexing will start from 0, right? So now you can see that if I write list and 0 as an argument, right? So I give the index position of 0th element. So what will be printed? The first element will be returned from the list, which which is at first 0th position. So the output will be Sunday, right? So if I want to access the third element in the list, what index position I have to pass here? Tell me. And to just access the third element in the list, which index position has to be passed? Third element is at what position?
The
Hello?
third element is at the third position.
The first element is at 0 index
First,
position. Next element
yes.
is at 1 position, and third element is at 2 position.
Second, yes.
That means
Second,
pass the index to index position. You will get the
yes.
third element in the list, right?
Yeah.
Now, if I am talking about negative indexing, so negative indexing will start from -1, right? So if I pass -1, so that means I am doing negative indexing, right? So your last element in the list will be at -1 position. You will get the last element if you write, if you give -1 as your index position, right? So the output will be
Yes.
Wednesday. If you want to access, suppose the the second last element, so what index position you have to pass for
Second
negative
last
index,
element. Then it's the second position.
for negative indexing?
-2.
Yes, what index position you have to pass for accessing the second last element?
Negative, -2.
-2, yes. So in that way we can access the element from the list, right? You have two ways to access any of elements in the list. You can also access same elements in the list by positive indexing. Suppose you want to access second last element of your list, so you have to pass only 2, right? If you pass 2 as an index position, so you will get the same output as earlier, right? See this. Okay, so in that way we can do positive or negative indexing. We can also do slicing. Slicing is what, just pick some elements, range of elements, and print it on your output screen. Suppose that if I want to access the elements from first position, from Sunday to Tuesday, that means I want to access first three elements in the list, right? So what
Yes.
type of indexing we have to do? Just do slicing. What I have to do? Just pass the,
Slicing.
just give the start index position, right? Index
Yes.
position, and with colon sign. Now stop index position, right?
Yes.
This start index position will always be included, as well as stop index position will be excluded. Now suppose you want to access the first three elements in the list, you have to just pass 0 to 0 to your stop indexing will be 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So the control will print your elements till to index position. So because it's excluded, so that's why we consider the stop index position like 3 minus 1, that will become 2, right? So here you can say that you have to pass, suppose you want to access first three element in the list, so you have to pass just plus 1 up to where you want to access, right? So just 0 to 3, so control will print the first three elements in the list, right? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now we can also do negative slicing, right? So negative slicing is what? Just to pass the negative indexing as well. Suppose that uh, negative indexing is what? Suppose I want to access the last three elements from the list. So I just need to pass the third element position as negative index position, right? So minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, that will be your starting index position. And what is that? This will be your, if you pass 0, so that means you want to print your last three elements from the list. If you pass minus 1, the control will print only the two elements from the last, right? So what will be the
Yeah.
last two elements? Monday and Tuesday, because the control will be terminated before the month position, right? So that means you just need to pass 0. So you will get last three elements from the list. Minus 3, that means minus 1. If I say that minus 1, right? Or you just need to pass only, you don't need to pass any of stop value if you want to print your last element, right? So just last element from the element Monday, right? So you just need to pass only minus 3, and you don't need to pass here, right? So the elements will be printed, right? So if you don't pass any starting or any stop value, stop index position, so entire list will be printed, right? Okay. You are not giving any starting index position, as well as you are not giving any stop value way to stop to print, right? So that means the by default the list will be started from the zeroth position, and control will print the entire list, right? So that will print the size of the list, right? So entire list will be printed here. Okay. So in that way, we can do negative and positive slicing, right? Suppose that
Yes.
if I want to change an element uh, at first position, first index position. Now just pass the index position where to update. Suppose that I want to change an element at first position. So you just need to pass index position and just pass the element, right? Element name. So now access list, you can see that Sunday, Saturday, because you have updated your element at first index position, right? Okay. If you want to add any element, right? An element in the list. Suppose that uh, if I want to add an element in the list, so I have to use append method to add the value in the list. This method will insert your element in the last position in your list. So suppose that I am giving an element name, it is Saturday, right? So that element will be inserted at last index position, right? Now you can see that your element has inserted at last position, last index position, right? So suppose that
Yes.
you want to add an element at in specific index position. Suppose you want to add your element at 2 index position. You don't want to update your element at second position, right? So you want to add your element at second index position. You just need to call insert method. You, you just need to pass two arguments. The first one will be your index position where to insert your element, and the second argument is your element name, right? Suppose that I want to add the element after the Monday, that will be the second index position, right? So pass this index position here, comma. The second argument is what? Your element name, which you want to
Yes.
insert at the specific position. This is your specific position, right? Now execute this program. You will see that Sunday, Monday, Saturday, your element has been inserted at specific position, right? Okay, now come to the next point, how to delete an element from the list. We are having different methods to delete elements from the list. Suppose uh, I want to delete an specific element by an specific index position. Suppose that uh, you have to use pop method. Pop method passing an index position inside this pop method. Suppose I'm passing the first index position. So your element at first position will be deleted. Now see this Sunday, Monday, which was at this first position, will has been deleted, right? So now the list has been printed. If you don't pass any of argument inside this, the pop method will delete the last element from your list. What is your last element in your list? The last element the last element is Wednesday in your list. So that element will be deleted if you are not passing any of our index position or any of argument, right? So see this Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, right? Is it okay? See this, right? You are having some more methods. Suppose that you want to delete element by element name, right? So you want to just delete an element by element name, and you don't know the index position of element which you want to delete. So here you want to delete by element name. So you have to use remove method and pass the element name. Suppose that if I am passing Monday, so Monday will be deleted. Monday, remove. Oh, sorry. This is case sensitive. So make sure the spelling should be correct and cases also should be Correct, right? So Monday will be deleted, right? We can also
Okay.
delete by index position by remove methods. So you just pass the index position inside the remove method, right? So just pass the 3. So at the at 3 index position, the element will be deleted, right? So here you can see that, right? We are having a keyword that is del keyword to delete the entire list, right? So here you can see that I'm deleting the entire list, right? By del keyword. This is the keyword. This is not a function or not a method, right? This is what? This is keyword. So I'm using a del keyword to delete the complete list. Okay. So the list will be deleted, and if you access your list after deleting the list, so you will get an error. So lst is not defined. So why it says this? Because we have deleted this
Yes.
list, right? So now see this, name lst is not defined because we have already deleted this list, right?
Yes.
After
It
that
doesn't
we
exist.
are trying to access this list which is not present in the memory, right? is it
Yeah.
is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, suppose I want to access, you can also access elements from the list one by one by iteration loop, right? Suppose I want to access elements from the list one by one, so I just need to apply loop, right? You can use um, for loop or while loop as your as per your requirements, right? So I just use for loop to access the element name from the list, right? For I n lst is what? The size of the list, right? So this will be your size of the list. For loop will execute it up to the size of the list. Size of the list is what? How many elements are there in the list? There are 4 elements in the list. So that means the size
Yes.
of the list is what? 4. So the
Four.
loop will be executed 4
Four times.
times, right? So now access the element one by one, print I. Control will send each element to the I. So first time the control will send the first element to the I variable, that will be Sunday, right? So now the Sunday will be printed, and then in the next line, in the next time, right? So control will send the next element to the variable I, that will be Monday. So Monday will be printed in the next line. So the third element, control will send the third element in the next time. So the third element will be printed in the next line. So in that way, we can access the multiple items from the list one by one. Here you can see that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? All the elements
Yes.
from the list will be printed by using iteration loop, right? You can also calculate the size of the list. Suppose I want to calculate the size of the list. Actually, actual, actually, how many elements are there in the list? Just use length function to calculate the size of the list, right? Now just pass the list name. You will get the number of elements present in the list. It will return the size of the element. Four elements present in the list. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now you can also clear your list by using clear method. You just need to call clear method. It will clear your list. So all the elements will be deleted from the list and it will return an empty list, right? So you can check this as T. Now the clear method will return an empty list because this will clear all the elements from the list, right? So list, how we represent list, how list represents. List always represents by square brackets. So that's why it has written an empty list. This is empty list, right?
Yes.
Okay. Suppose you want to copy the entire list into the into another variable. I just take another variable name that is list1, right? And I want to copy this entire list into variable list1. So if I pass only the variable name, so can can it be copied? Just tell me. It has
Yes.
copied. It has copied or not?
No.
Why?
Because you're only printing one of them.
Yes, sorry, speak loudly.
You're only printing one of them. You're not printing one ST and one ST1.
Yes, 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 yes. It is only pointing to same list. If I make any changes in the original list, so that will be affected. My copied list or my pointing list will be affected as well, right? So I just need to call copy method to copy this list into the variable list1. Suppose if I make any changes in my original list, so copied list will not be affected. Suppose I print list one, right? Now I delete an element after the copy this list into the into another variable, right? Suppose that list dot pop, list dot pop. The pop method will delete the last element from list, right? So I have already copied before deleting the element in the list, right? So I have copied that original list into variable into list one. Now I am printing the C both list, right? So now you will see what list dot pop. Oh, sorry. So here you pass, right? So now original list from original list, the element will be deleted, but copied list will not be affected. If I call or if I um, use copy method, right? So if I don't copy or don't uh, call this method, now the pointing this list pointing the same list, this list, the pointing the original list. If I make any changes in the original list, so the pointing list will be affected in that way, right? So if I delete any element from the list or I change any element in the list, right? So the element will be deleted or updated into the list one. Is it clear? Is it
Yes.
clear?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, okay. The what we say that copy an original list to a variable is known as deep copy, right? We see that deep copy and pointing the original list into another variable is known as shallow copy, right? Remember these terms always, right? Okay, is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. Now you can also print same list using while loop. You just need to start. Uh, we will initialize the value where this loop to start from zero, because zero is one of index position from the list, right? So I use as index position. I use this variable as index position. If I less than size of list, size of list, length of list. So that means the list will be printed and increment the value of variable 1 by 1, right? The variable of I by 1. So here you can see that, oh sorry, just need to pass only this list of I, list of I, right? So in that way you can print your all elements from the list. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So that was the class about the list.
Okay.
We have completed one of our data type. We will discuss some more data types in the next lecture, right?
Okay. Thank you.
Like tuples, sets, dictionary. These are very important data types which we are to discuss in the next lecture, right?
Okay.
So till that, goodbye. See you in the next
Okay.
class.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.